I want to thank you again for that gift, dude. It's almost like the shadow box with the tabs in it with the coin, man. Especially that coin.
Yeah.
I know you had to be there just to have it, so like that is super humbling, dude, and I will cherish that.
Yeah. No, I'm glad. I'm
and
glad to give it to you.
Thank you, man. I'm absolutely gonna do that as a tradition. I'm definitely gonna hunt Ray down. I have to pick which tab I want to put in there. It's probably just gonna be my first sergeant tab, to be honest with you. And I'm looking forward to the veterans that we have that are gonna be coming on the show in the future. But yeah, I just want to thank you guys for tuning in. This is Chili from the Dirty Shirts podcast. I have a very special guest with me today. So why don't you just go ahead and introduce yourself, man? What's your background?
Hey, Ryan Summers, born and raised Yuba City, California. Started off at Terra Buena Middle School.
Yeah.
Just a small local school.
Local boy?
Yep. K through 8, so just one school for me until I went to high school. Got into high school, started over at Yuba City High School in my freshman year. And then River Valley High School ended up opening up, so transferred over to River Valley.
Nice.
Finished my years out there. Shortly after graduating, joined the military in 2008 and retired in 2015.
Oh, yeah.
Came back to Yuba City and been living here ever since.
Now, you said that you grew up over there in the River Valley High, right? You're a Yuba City boy. We were together the other day. It's funny, we actually mentioned it. We actually pre-recorded this podcast, and we're running it a second time, so this is take 2. But you mentioned that when you were in high school, you also had an affinity for sports. So you were doing football, you were doing wrestling. What was your positions that you played in football, and then how did wrestling go for you? What was it like?
Yeah, started playing football in freshman year of high school. Ended up playing inside linebacker and guard. Had a blast with both of them. You get to hit people every play, no matter which way you're going. So, yeah, I enjoyed both of those.
I talked about football with my son because he's in sports now and he does basketball, and I was just talking to him yesterday about it, and he's like, "Do you think I should do tackle football?" And I was like, "Do you actually want to do tackle football?" He's like, "I don't know." I was like, "Then don't do it." I was like, "I want you to be in it because you're passionate about it." He asked if I played football, and I was like, "To be honest with you, I think I was too much of a wuss." Like, really, when I was little, I was a string bean, dude. Like, I was probably the skinniest kid trying out if I did. But I was a skateboarder. It is what it is. But that's pretty cool, man, and it makes total sense on the mats. Your physical background, not just the military background, that you had this like athletic capability coming into the mats, and then how the way you apply it actively. What about wrestling? How was that for you? Like, how was day one of wrestling?
Yeah, so day one of wrestling, I started in 4th grade. Me and my buddy signed up thinking it was WWF, and it was not WWF. Anyway, I got my butt kicked the entire first year. Never won a match, but just stuck with it. And I think I ended up wrestling for, 10 years total.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a huge base to have, dude. Like, if I had a regret, that I can like reverse, go back in time, hit a time machine, it would be to be a wrestler.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I knew that I really wanted to do. I just didn't do it for some reason. I had guys, like some of my best friends, do it, and I look at the impact that it has on folks, especially when they do stuff like step on the mats for jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Dude, it's so helpful, and I could feel the wrestling, but it's cool when you have folks like you that have like continued on your journey, and then you have like the wrestling base, and then you turn it into like a blend.
Yeah.
It's super dope, man. And we got more wrestlers that keep coming to the mats, and it's good stuff. So you did about 10 years total of wrestling.
Yep.
And you have that football background, and then you were kind of talking the other day about how you transitioned in the military. Why don't you kind of walk us along through that? Like, your wife Brooke, she was there. You guys are high school sweethearts.
Yep. High school sweethearts.
So how was that decision-making process where you decided like, hey, I'm gonna go join the military?
Yeah. So I was going to a local community college, Yuba College here. Got about halfway through, 3/4 of the way through the first semester. Just really wasn't for me. I didn't know what I wanted to do, really. Kind of thought I wanted to be a police officer at the time, but couldn't join the police force until 21. So I was like, well, school just isn't cutting it for me. I was tired of working full-time, going to school full-time. I was working at AAA at the time, roadside service tech. So switched, got toward at the end of college there, and I was like, this isn't for me. I'm gonna go look into the Army. I had a friend that had just joined, so I went down there, a recruiter, talked to him, was able to ended up getting my job, 11 Bravo Infantry. Um, had the option to do the airborne contract, so did the airborne contract, be able to parachute, and then also was able to get an option 40 contract to be able to go through. It was called RIP at the time, Ranger Indoctrination Program, to be able to go into the Ranger battalions.
And would you say that you felt pretty good going into it, or was there like a certain level of like a doubt? Because I know you did a lot of PT,
Yeah.
and I know your recruiter did a good job trying to get you
Yeah.
prepared for that. But what was your thoughts going in? Like you go through the boot camp phase, right? And then from there, you're transitioning eventually into this RIP. Like, what was that like for you going into there? Did you have like a certain level of preparation, or were you just like, hey, I'm just going to go in there and get after it and see what can happen?
Coming out of sports, out of high school, I was in really good shape. So basic training was, wouldn't say easy, but it wasn't hard, not physically, you know. There's a lot of people that had a real hard time with it. It didn't really bother me. Made it through that. Ended up going to next step, airborne school. Ended up going there. Airborne school beats you up.
Yeah.
A lot of jumping, landing on the ground, learning how to do your PLFs, your parachute landing falls, stuff like that, and then eventually doing your jumps. That way you're qualified. From there, then that's when we transferred up the hill and ended up going to the Ranger compound to start RIP.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
So when you had your Ranger introduction, you went in there. I know you met a lot of various folks. I know you were talking about how you met the Brits. Do you mind kind of like talking about that integration with the, I guess you can say, partner nations, right? As they come in.
Yeah. So at the time, the Brits were looking to stand up somewhat of a Ranger battalion. So they were integrating with us through the training just to see how everything went. I think when we started the class, we were up in the high 200s, 280-ish or so. I think when we ended up graduating, we were high 60s, I think, 68,
Oh, wow.
72, somewhere in that range right there. So the Brits came in. They did the entire training with us, did all the physical events, land navigation, They were really just shadowing us, doing everything we did, but also looking at how the instructors were instructing as we went too.
That's crazy, man. That's a really cool experience to be able to hang out with the partner nations, get that done. I'm really curious about the progression in this program. All right, so you're in the middle of this program, right? You got the introduction. Can you kind of walk us through what was it like day one rolling into the program, and what was the kind of common theme that you saw amongst the people that were also candidates in the program?
Yeah, so day one, all your candidates naturally nervous. You have candidates, you have guys that just came into the Army like me that just got out of boot camp, went to airborne school. We also have people that have all just got back from 18-month deployments. So we have a wide group of, fresh guys all the way to your, not senior guys, but they've got a deployment under their belt. So you come in there, mostly it's a smoke show to start it off. I mean, they're trying to drop their numbers, see who's going to quit. Easiest way to get somebody to quit is to physically fatigue them and see if they break mentally. So we lost a lot of guys through the first couple of days, mostly strenuous, day after day, super long days. You get your sleep as much as you can,
Yeah.
as long as they're pretty good about not messing with you at night. We did get messed with at night, but generally you got a decent amount of sleep.
Probably just to secure the longevity of the training, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I mean the cadre are out there with you too, so they
gotta rest too.
got to rest too. I mean those guys were going on ruck marches with us and running with us and everything else. So,
What would you say that was the hardest attrition for, like, let's say age groups? Like, was it a lot of the younger guys that would drop out first, or we just kind of had like a mixed bag of folks dropping in and out?
it was a mixed bag. At the time that I went through was early 2009, so we had the 2008 recession there. So you had a lot of guys that had careers prior lost everything, joined the military. So a little more mentally tough guys
Yeah.
there versus the younger guys.
Mm-hmm.
You did get a lot of fresh guys, that would drop. They're just not super mentally tough, can't deal with the continuous yelling of the instructors, or
Yeah.
can't follow directions. That's a big one, failure to adapt. And then just the strenuous everyday exercise is what really gets to guys. A lot of injuries, stress fractures, heat stroke, so that sort of stuff.
Yeah, those physical things. I had a really close friend of mine. He made it through combat controller school, already did the majority of the training, ended up having like a leg condition as a result of the training.
Yeah.
Something ended up happening. He had to drop out after already being done with the majority of the training. And
Yeah.
I know that was devastating for him. I mean, he made it through and still had a great career and did great things. He's doing great things now, but it's just those kind of things come up. And especially in like an indoctrination process. The war of attrition that you go through, it's extreme, dude. And so you're going through there, you have these folks that are dropping out. You're starting to kind of get a better idea of, who's falling in line, who are the guys that are in there for the long haul. What would you just say was some of the most memorable times when you're going through that? Some of the most, it could be good, bad, or ugly, but what are some of the most memorable times of the main portion of that training that really sticks to you?
Most memorable times were probably out at Cool Range. Cool Range out there is kind of your last big event for the training. 5 days in the woods, sleeping out there, 24/7, eating MREs.
Yeah.
Not great, especially back then. There wasn't good ones back then.
I didn't even ask you this the other day, but what is your favorite MRE?
Oh, probably the tortellini.
The tortellini? Dude, that's pretty good. Yeah.
A little bit later, they had like a pesto chicken pasta one towards when
That
I
was
was
pretty
getting
decent.
out. That one was pretty good. But at that time, you just got one thrown at you and whatever you got.
Yeah.
And everybody was dodging the cheese and veggie omelet.
That is a universal poison
Yeah.
that they introduce. We used to use that as punishment for whatever, like if someone was being like a douchebag on their deployed or in the field, and like, no, you get the omelet.
Yeah.
And, like, you get to sleep by the toilet tonight,
Yeah.
And it was either that or we'd use it for gambling. So like if we're playing, like you come in, you throw in like whatever cash or chips, whatever we're using at the time. And then like the worst loser, like first loser, like would have to eat an omelet while we're playing.
Yeah.
Maybe that was like our like ringside entertainment
Yeah.
while playing a game, watching this guy get sick on an omelet.
Yep.
I've never had a good omelet. I don't think they exist. I think it was just poison.
Yeah. No, that was bad.
Do you remember what the meat bricks were? They call it like a burger or a patty.
Yeah. Beef patty. Maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what those were, but they were like halfway decent.
Yeah.
It was you could
jerky
stomach
burgers.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
jerky burger. That's a good way to
Yeah.
put it. Some questionable sauce on it, but it was decent.
Yeah.
Anything pasta was good though. I
Yeah.
like the pastas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you ever have the freaking like the pound cake?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that
Poppy
was
seed pound cake.
that's money.
The
That's
chocolate pound
currency.
cake? Oh yeah.
Peanut butter was currency.
Peanut
Tabasco sauce.
The strike bars, like the protein bars that were in there, they had like chocolate ones.
I think I had a protein bar, but I don't remember it being called Strike. It might have been. It's been a number of years now,
Yeah.
but I do remember the snack bread was
Snack
pretty damn
bread.
good.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's currency as well.
It's crazy to think that something that can sit in the sun for years,
Yeah.
we're sitting here saying is good.
It was pretty good. It's like it's not bad, and I'm sure it's not good that we're cooking it like in some chemically created
Yeah,
bag.
just add water.
You just add water, dude, and it's like smoking in there. You know it's melting. And you're
Yeah.
getting all those fumes and stuff
yeah.
in there. It's whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
It's like adding like a little smoke flavor to
That's
it.
the worst when your chemical heater didn't work though.
Yeah.
And it's 50-50.
I've had a couple of meals where the heater didn't work, and I tried to use my buddies after the fact. I just didn't cook it enough.
No.
I'd rather eat it cold than not.
Yeah.
Not all the way cooked.
Yeah.
Yeah. MREs, dude. Okay.
MREs.
So you're out on Coal Range.
Yeah.
What kind of cadre-induced traumas
Oh gosh.
can you enlighten us on?
Just the amount of mind games, mind games that led to physical punishment. I mean, the most common one, looking back at it now, is a team building exercise, or that's how I justify it.
Yes. Yeah.
Back to the MREs. MREs by number is what they used to call it. And so everybody would get their MRE, and then they wouldn't say anything. They say you're gonna do exactly as I tell you. You get your MRE, bound and determined somebody's gonna open it.
Yeah.
Oh, nobody told you to open it. Grab your rucksacks and your rubber ducky, your fake M4,
Yeah.
and go hit the wood line. Well, the wood line's 200, 250 yards that you have to go run all the way down there, come all the way back, sit back down, start over. And they're like, and then they go grab your MREs, and then pretty soon you hear,
Yeah.
so, oh my God. And they're like, oh, you guys didn't learn. Back to the wood line and go hit it again. And sometimes you'd have a 2-hour lunch until somebody figured it out.
What was the reaction the second time it happened? Because like the first time is kind of like, oh crap,
Yeah.
But out of all the dudes that, like, let's say, like, give me a number. What would be like a number of guys sitting there with their MREs?
I mean, there was probably 80 of us, 90 of us.
So out of 80 or 90, surely someone got it the first try and said, okay, I'm not going to be the guy to open it.
Yeah.
What do you think the ratio was for people that were pissed to people that were still surprised?
Like you said, the first time you get away with it,
Yeah.
The second time you come back and you sit back down and you hear somebody rip it open, and there's only like one that rips it open the second you go around. Everybody looks at them.
Yeah.
And then nobody says anything because you can't yell at them or you're going to get in trouble. But you come back and somebody does it a third time.
Yeah.
And then you're starting to get it,
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I can't imagine. So you get through your meals, like, if you can.
Yeah.
So you go through that. You got the mind games that they're playing endlessly. How long do you think the duration of Coal Range was?
5 days.
5 days. So 5 whole days of this.
Yeah.
And you're getting ready to I'm imagining you're going to some kind of like exfil position, right? Or like some kind of finish in line, right?
Yeah. So you march, you ruck march out there, get there, you do your mission or whatever your 5-day mission, you survive while you're out there. A lot of mind games during the day, and then usually you rotate into some sort of exercise. A lot of land navigation while you're out there, both day and night. Pair up on a buddy team, get 5 points, or 5 different grids. Right? I think it was 5 grids, and you had to find 3 to meet the check the box, because you had to meet the requirements every single time. So you had a time limit, one of your battle buddies that would go with you, and then you go out and into the woods you go and try to go find your points.
We're talking about that. You were talking about how they kind of mix and match buddies so that we were not stuck with just like random. The turd.
Yep.
So I imagine that was like very helpful.
Yeah, it was. So I ended up getting paired with a Royal Marine while we were out there. Absolutely phenomenal at land navigation. That's awesome. I don't even know how he does it, because they teach their way a little bit different than we teach our way. And he was using the way he was doing it with our maps and, and he'd just go out there and be like, all right, mate, we got to turn right here.
Yeah. Yeah, we were talking about the Royal Marines, man. They're a special bunch of dudes. The other day we're talking about how I got to link up with Prince Harry and his crew when he was an Apache pilot. Yeah. And to be able to see those guys, the camaraderie for one, like they understand culture very well.
Yeah, super tight.
Yeah, super tight knit dudes, and like whether it's Royal Air Force, Royal Marines, they just get that camaraderie aspect, and I think a lot of it has to do with just the longevity of their culture. Like when you look at the fact that we all shared, war together, especially in World War II. Talking about what you're talking about when you have guys that come in from a 2008 recession, right? Yep. They're going through it. They're losing jobs, businesses. Yep. They go in. They got a little bit grittier of a mindset. They can kind of get through everything. That their resilience is built up. And then to see in World War II, the common denominator that a lot of those guys had that were on our side coming into the war, those folks were dealing with the Great Depression, and those guys were survivors. And I did a lot of research recently on Easy Company, just kind of like going back. Doing the whole, like, I like to look up Band of Brothers. I watch the show, I listen to the book, I start looking up individual members of that team and listen to their stories, especially like I'm really partial as a first sergeant retired. Like I look at First Sergeant Lipton and later Lieutenant Lipton, looking at those guys and being able to kind of like get inside their heads. You read their memoirs, and a lot of those guys, especially in the written text, for Band of Brothers, they were talking about how like a lot of these guys joined the war because they're like, dude, this is vacation. Like I'm living in hell right now. So at least I get 3 square meals. I got a paycheck that I can look back to as long as I don't die. Like they had this crazy mindset, this resilience, this way of thinking where they're like, anything is better than what I got right now. I'm just going to go ahead and full circle and go. And those guys were the ones who can actually make it through the airborne. Those guys are the ones who could be, you know, paratroopers. And I'm looking at what you guys have, and I'm listening to your story, and it very much makes me think about how these folks are that much more resilient. And I'm sure that the Royal Marines, Royal Air Force have that same kind of mentality. They got a tradition of grit.
Yeah.
Those are the ones who want to get in the fight. Even when we were talking the other day about Prince Harry, you know, he got sent home when he got caught, but that dude was outside the wire with his boys. And like, to have a member of the royal family wanting to be out there with the men, that says something. That's a statement.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so going back to where you're at, right? You go through this period of time, you get to the end, so to speak. You shared a funny story with me the other day about the game they've messed with that they play. They kind of like messed with you about like finishing first and all that stuff. So you know, give us a little bit of enlightenment on that.
Yeah. So we get to the end. We finally made it. Everybody gets to go home, and there's 4 platoons, I believe is what it was. 3 or 4 platoons that were there.
Mm-hmm.
Every platoon got to have 2 reps, and they said, "Hey, we're going to do a combatives tournament."
Yeah. And what was the combatives tournament consisting of?
Submissions.
Submissions. Okay.
Yeah. So you make the guy tap out or submit him. You know, one of the ways. So my platoon knew that I had a wrestling background, so I got chosen. There was one guy that said he had done a little bit of jiu-jitsu. He got chosen. So there was 6 or 8 of us that got to go out there. We start fighting, end up getting me and another guy in the finals. When we go at it for a good amount of minutes, I end up beating him at the end. I think I got him in a guillotine, I think is what I ended up getting him with.
Just full send.
Yeah, full send. Grab it and rip it, baby.
Yeah.
Because I was trying to get out of there. Me and the platoon, you know, the first guy's out, and hell yeah, first guys to get the showers when we get back, get all of our nasty gear off, you know, nobody taking a shower in 5 days. We're ready to get out of there. So we get done. I beat him. I'm absolutely spent. Stand up, and they go, "All right, congratulations, 3rd platoon. You guys are going home first." Bus pulls up. They look at everybody. They're like, "Just kidding. Everybody get in the bus." So we just fought our hearts out for a half hour just
for the cadre's entertainment,
just for nothing, for absolutely nothing, just for entertainment.
Just waiting for the bus to show up.
They knew the bus wasn't showing up for another 20 or 30 minutes. They were bored.
Yeah,
and they couldn't smoke us anymore. So why not just let them beat themselves up?
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's just classic military.
Just typical mind game, dude.
Yeah.
It was. I mean, but at least it was a fun one.
Yeah. And you still get to, have that, hang on to that.
Yeah. Plus, I won.
So. Yeah, you won, so it's great. You know. Speaking of which, you went double champ recently.
Yeah.
You went to Reno, and you did a gi and no gi.
Yep.
I know we were talking about you did 4 matches.
4 matches. Yeah.
Overall, how was no gi? Because you did no gi first, right?
No gi first. Yeah. I'm not a big no-gi guy. I think I've went to 10 practices maybe total. I don't know. I'm old. I like to grab onto the gi, slow the young guys down. It gives me something to hang on to.
I feel you.
So went into no-gi. First match went well. Ended up getting the first takedown on the guy. Pretty much rode him out the entire time. Won by decision 5-0. Missed my opportunity on 1 sub on a choke. But I was go for it and put myself in kind of a jeopardizing position, or just ride it out and stay on top. I didn't have much time left. I wasn't hurting for anything, you know. So ended up beating him 5-0. Went into the final round. Had him, same thing. Took him down. Got on top. Rode him out. Went to go try to take the back. Took his back, tried to get my hooks in, wasn't able to get my hook in, and got caught in a super deep darce. And there's about 10 seconds left or so, 8 seconds left. And I remember trying to roll out of it. And the way that I ended up landing, I landed looking at the timer, and it said 7 seconds left, and he had my leg caught, and I was done. And so I was like, well, I'm up 5-0 because he had never got a dominant position to get any points. It wasn't a sweep. So I was sitting good there. So I knew that if I just sat there and just held on to it, that I'd be good. I just sat there and I was like, well, I'm either getting the win or I'm blacking out. It's one of the two.
And you got the win.
Ended up getting the win, yeah. So
Yeah.
I ended up getting the decision on him. I beat him 5-0. Yeah.
That's awesome. So gold one.
Gold one.
Now
yeah.
you transition. What was the difference in time? Like when did you jump onto the mat with your gi on?
Yeah, so
next
I
round?
think my projected time was like 9:35, and they were pretty on time. I was on the mat between 9:35 9:40 a.m.
So what was the time frame between your last no gi match and your first gi match?
Yeah, so if anybody ends up doing a tournament, and this is why you watch your app, is because they had my projected time at 4:10 as I was supposed to go.
Wow.
Tournament was running fast. Ended up stepping on the mat at 2:45.
Wow.
So ended up getting back over there because we left, went and checked into the hotel, got a bite to eat. My wife and a couple of my friends were up there, so they were hungry. We left.
And you already weighed in, good to go, right? So
Yeah.
you're just kind of waiting to come back up and finish the tournament.
Yeah. So just weigh in once in the morning. So I'd already done all that. Went and got a little snack for lunch, and ended up came back. First match, like I said, stepped on about 2:45, 2:50. Stood up with him. He went to go for a throw. I don't know what it was. It wasn't pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah. I ended up landing chest to chest with him. And from there, just established side control, got my points, going through the tournament thing, trying to get your points. Got that, ended up getting a bread cutter, super deep bread cutter. And lucky.
I've been on the receiving end of that.
Yeah.
So I feel sorry for him. But not my problem. It was his problem that day.
Yeah.
So,
and, he even rolled into it. So
Yeah.
it's a terrible idea.
Yeah.
So I ended up getting the submission on him, probably about a minute and 32 minutes in, somewhere around there.
Nice.
Had a little bit of a break while the next match went, and then I'm back up in the finals. Guy in the finals, he had a lot of tournaments under his belt. I think that was his 5th or 6th tournament, and all of the last tournaments he'd placed first at. He had just competed at Reno 2 or 3 weeks prior.
So likely a local guy.
Yeah,
Probably
all the guys that wrestled were local guys.
Yeah. So you're coming from Yuba City, California.
Yeah.
Driving up to Redding.
Yep.
Reno. Doing
yeah.
your thing, and then with that travel lag, you're still going in there, and now you're meeting a local guy in the finals. He's sitting pretty. Probably just took a shower in his house.
Yeah. And he didn't compete in no-gi, so he was gi only.
So he was fresh.
Fresh, yeah.
Yeah.
So got into it with him. We ended up standing up for probably about 2.5 minutes or so. He ended up doing a little throw, ended up getting me down. I got him in my guard. He didn't get any points, and ended up standing up. Had an open guard on him, and he ended up pushing me out of bounds. Referee stood us back up. Ended up tying back up, and he finally gave me the grips I was looking for kind of a little over under like hip toss deal. Ended up landing on top and landed right in Queso.
Yeah.
So it was
over from there.
pretty
right?
much over from there. Yeah.
I watched the footage of that, and I remember I was so excited because as soon as I saw you get your grips, I just saw a change in your physical demeanor. And when you hit toss him, it was clean, brother.
Yeah.
It was clean. And when you went down to Queso, all I could think about was, all right, I've rolled with this guy for a couple of years now. This guy's screwed. That's all I could think of when I was watching the video that was posted to the chat. And to see you get into that position, to see how comfortable you looked.
Yeah.
What was going through your mind, and talk about how the fight ended.
Yeah. So I kind of run like a little bit of a different Queso than most, I would say. I come around the back of the head and reach into the armpit, and there's like a punch choke that's there that you can come under the arm and put it right in their neck, and then when you bend them back up, that brings them right into your fist, and then plus you're just crushing their upper body. So I ended up landing. I landed right in that. I think he flailed his arm up, which allowed me to get my arm under and set my little punch choke there. And I don't think he had a lot of experience of being on bottom.
Yeah, maybe even
'Cause-
queso.
yeah, maybe even there. So he was hurting from. It wasn't too long after I got him on his back that I ended up getting the submission out of him.
Yeah, he was. He looked like he was just done the second you landed.
Yeah,
Especially from like a pressure gym. Like our gym is a pressure gym. We very much like we're very serious about like teaching that. It's one of our priorities, especially in fundamentals. Is like, hey man, like when you get position, you want control, like get pressure as well, because we want them to. You want to wear your opponent out, right?
Yeah.
And there's no point in just controlling by just holding on to them. Like kind of drain that battery. I know Justin talks about it like that, and that tense is like everyone's got a battery, and then when you continue to drain that power, it just makes it more and more easy for you to get the job done. And I think he did a brilliant job of that.
yeah,
Hats off to you, man. Double gold.
yeah.
Freaking
Double
amazing.
gold, no points scored.
Yep. No
So-
points against, right?
Yeah, no
So
points
just
against.
you handled business,
Yeah.
and that's awesome, man. So you worked that double champ, monster. But let's go back in time again. Let's go back to the completion of Ranger School. So you go to Ranger School, and correct me if I'm wrong. You're in Georgia.
Yeah, Fort Benning, Georgia.
So you're in Fort Benning, and then we kind of talked the other day about the selection period, or like how you kind of get to which group you're assigned to, right? So can you kind of walk us through that?
Yeah. So after you get back from core range, they kind of you get a little chill out break. I think the rest of the day you kind of get to wash your gear, get everything back in order. After you make it through all that, then you go into your background checks. Because at the time they were given waivers, you could get a waiver with a misdemeanor to get into the military,
Which is
or
mind-boggling.
at least the Army, anyways.
Yeah.
So you might have made it through the background check to make it through the military standards, but you have to get a clearance, government clearance through the unit. So you had to go into a further background investigation, and then they dig into financials as well. Now we did lose, I can't remember, 4 or 6 guys off of financials because coming out of that financial crisis. I think,
Especially with elevated clearance, like you can't
Yeah.
have a lot of that.
yeah, you can't have a lot of debt. And I think 3 of the guys that ended up getting dropped for financials, I think they all had construction companies, and they lost them in the downturn. So they had just had a bunch of debt or whatever it was.
Yeah. Which is truly a short end of the stick. Like that's
Yeah.
not necessarily on them. You know?
I mean, you made it through all that physically, mentally, and then it just so happens that you're unfortunate on that end. So lost a couple guys to that. Do your graduation. After your graduation, you get to decide where you're going to go. We didn't know where we were going to go at the time because there's three different battalions you can go to. You can go to 1st Battalion. That's over in Hunter Army Airfield over in Savannah, Georgia. You can go to 2nd Battalion, which is Joint Lewis McCord. Fort Lewis up in Washington. And then you can stay there in Columbus, Georgia, and stay at 3rd Battalion. At the time, you had done basic training, airborne, RIP. Nobody wants to stay at 3rd Battalion. You've been there your entire short military career. You're ready to get out of there.
Yeah.
So I knew my fiance at the time, Brooke, I knew she wanted to go to Savannah, Georgia. So they said, hey, we've got, I don't remember the number, 17 slots for guys that can go to 1st Bat. First 17 in line get to go.
Wow.
Well, I just so happened to sit in the front row on the end.
You just stood up. And said,
Yeah. I had a little tip. My buddy graduated the class before me, and he said, hey, if you want to know, this is kind of what they're going to do, At least that's what they did for him. So I kind of figured a little bit. So I got up front and got a good seat. And they're like, hey, we got 17 slots or whatever, 1st Battalion, first guys in line. And so I was 2nd or 3rd there. And the guys in the back are all fighting each other, pushing each other out of the way. And then they're like, all right, enough. Whoever's in line, everybody else go back to their seat. And then they hand out your orders. Hey, congratulations, you're going to 1st Battalion, 1st Battalion. So
hats off to your buddy, man.
Yeah.
What a freaking good wingman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I ended up getting sent over there. When I showed up there, the guys were gone into training mission. And I think my 2nd or 3rd day there is when they came back. Yeah, rough. So everybody's grumpy because everybody's been up traveling, doing whatever. and they say, hey, all you fucking new guys, go get everybody's bags. Well, we don't know a single person of who everything is. We're running around with everybody's gear bags. They're making us run with them over our heads, running through the, running
Still
through the coughs.
indoctrinating. Yeah.
Yeah, looking for so and so. Well, it doesn't say ranks on them, so you're yelling off names, and they're like, "Hey, I'm a sergeant. Get over here!" And so pretty soon you're squatting with their gear bags over their head because you didn't use rank.
Yeah.
Just a mess, dude. And so we finally got through that. Ended up getting our platoon, our team leader. My team leader at the time was an absolute hard ass, old Jason Jasinski.
It's a good name.
Yeah, the dude was an absolute monster. Showed up the first day, and he looks me dead in the eye, and he goes, "I will never make you do anything that I can't do." And I was like, "Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
That's fair."
That's respectable.
Yeah. And he was like, every time you come into at the time we had a cage, we call them the cages. It's where we stored all of our gear and everything, and it was just your team, or your squad was in one cage. So we go in there. There's a pull-up bar. One of the physical standards is you have to be able to do pull-ups to be able to pass the PT test. So anytime you went in and out of the cage, you had to do 10 pull-ups. So he says, "Hey, I'll never make you do anything that I can't do." I was like, "All right, fair enough." He was like, "Go outside and give me 10 pull-ups." Do my 10 pull-ups. He walks up to the pull-up bar, looks me right in the eyes, grabs it with one hand, and starts doing one-hand pull-ups. And I was like, "Oh,
establishing dominance,
dude,
yeah.
I am so screwed."
Yeah. So you get the monster.
Yeah, I get the monster. And then he took me over to his locker. So part of the thing about going to the Ranger battalions is you're known because you have a tan beret. So he had never had a private make it through him. So he had all of his tan berets of all of his previous privates hung up in his locker.
Damn.
He's like, "Hey, these are all the ones I've took. That's your spot down there." I was like, "Okay, man."
Yeah.
So that was my first days at Ranger Battalion. Just trying to prove myself to Mr. Jason.
So when you said that he's collecting berets, right? Like, so when I think of collecting berets in my realm, I'm kicking people out of the military.
Yeah.
So when he's talking about in that context, he's talking about people that tap out.
Yeah.
And they don't do it. So is that because you guys weren't fully in yet, or like there's still quit period, or you just at any point you're just like, I'm done?
Being in that unit in special operations, a volunteer unit, so you can get released.
Got it.
You can get released at any time, and then you get back and you go out to the regular army. So you go get sent to
whatever your previous MOS was, or
yeah. So you'd go back to 11. I'd go infantry, say at like like 10th Mountain up in New York, or one of those 3rd ID over at Fort Stewart, Georgia. Just a regular army unit.
Yeah.
So those are the guys that he had made quit or whatever.
Yeah. And so he had a collection. Wow.
But he never got mine.
Hey, dude, let's go. That's awesome. And it's kind of like the never quit mentality, because you're already gone so far.
Yeah.
Like, why quit now? Like, because you have one hard ass. Like, if anything, that's the kind of guy that you want, especially dealing with the realm of professionalism and the what you did for a living, right? Like, I'd rather have a guy like that than some guy that's not taking it too seriously. So I'm sure you must have, in some way, shape, or form, even though you're going through the suck with them, you're like, dude, I'm probably going to be the most prepared dude.
Yeah.
Downrange.
He got, for as big of a hard ass as he was an absolutely phenomenal dude. And he was, at the time, just trying to mold me into someone that he knew that I'd have his back. Because if you crack under a little bit of physical demands, you're going to crack when shots start cracking off too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I had a chief master sergeant. He was one of the Air Force level. I'm not sure what your guys' equivalent is, where you got like the numbered Air Force that's above like the base and like the command level, right? Like it's in between there, I think. But that's how old I'm getting. I'm forgetting the way that the structure works. But he was one of the commanders of the numbered Air Force over Global Strike Command, and his name was Chief Good. Still like connected with him in some ways, right? And I remember we did an annual awards ceremony, and he gave this like epic speech. And first of all, he's Scottish, so he's got like this like, he looks like Jean-Luc Picard, like he looks like Patrick Stewart.
Yeah.
Like almost a spitting image at the time, and it was like really weird because I'm like, dude, I've seen this guy on TV. Like, this guy's like, Star Trek guy, but you see him, and he's just so well put together. Scottish accent, And he kept saying this term over and over again. And initially during the speech, I was like, this is getting old. But he started to kind of go into it. He would always say that we stand on the shoulders of giants. And one of the things that he always told me whenever I did get a chance to talk to him in person was that he's like, the reason why I say that all the time is because there's guys that are going to be leaders, and there's going to be guys that you just classify as their grade. You know, like there's let's say you got like a sergeant, and then there's like an E5. There's a difference between a sergeant and an E5. I'll call someone proudly a sergeant, but an E5 is someone that's kind of like, they're just holding the rank, dude, and they're kind of a douche.
Yeah.
I've run into a lot of those kind of folks at every rank, but he was kind of explaining to me how like you get those leaders that you want to follow because what they're trying to do is they're trying to breed replacements. And they're looking at you and they're like, hey, I'm going to present to you this really crappy challenge. I'm going to give you this immediate struggle of like, hey, don't get your beret on the wall, right? Don't add to my collection. That's a pretty serious statement, but it's also amazing because now he's like, I'm going to let you step it up. Like, it's up to you now. It's all in your hands, and you're going to grind it out. And if you make it, great, because now he can rest easy. I bet you he's sitting down right now, especially when his time is up. And you can go, man, I got some people that made it through. They can kind of, hold the torch for me.
Yeah.
And I think that's super important. A lot of leaders in the military, they don't take the time to try and breed their replacements. I think there's a lot of egos. I think a lot of people think that they're the shit and they're the bottom line. And so there's a lot of folks that don't get to kind of get brought up and then excel past the leaders because you got people that don't want their troops to do better than them.
Yeah, that was one thing about Jason is he was always trying to just share that wealth of knowledge with everyone. Just always trying to make his guys better. Like you said, even if they ended up better than him, I don't know how you could have been. But
hey, if they are freaking fantastic,
if they are fantastic,
it's like, okay, now you're a Charizard instead of a chameleon, dude. Like, I look at these leaders and I see the impact that they have. I realized over time I could tell who was full of themselves and who was trying to put on a show and who wanted to have the clout.
Yeah.
And then you see those other people, they're usually the more quiet folks. They might be hardcore to their people, but you don't see them going around saying, look at me.
Yeah.
They're like, no, man, this is what we do. This is what we do here. You're with me. This is how we do business.
Yeah.
And I've always gravitated for those folks, and I'm so glad I did because I think I would have been so much worse off in my career. I could have been led astray, and I could have ended up being like a huge douchebag. If, especially as a first sergeant, like you're in organizational leadership, to have that mentality of not wanting your people to do even better than you is insane to me. Like, why create a ceiling for your troops?
Yeah.
And I'm sure that helped you in combat.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have this amazing guy. You got a great, I'm sure he's an NCO.
Yeah. E5.
So
sergeant.
You got a sergeant that's over you. He's taking you and bringing you up in the way that I'm sure you needed to.
Yeah.
Right. Especially looking at the totality of your service, you're like, man, I'm sure thankful for that guy.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
It reminds me of an MTI I had. He was telling me about, he was a cadre for my pre-deployment training for Iraq. I had to email that guy and thank him because there's a lot of shit that he taught me. And even though he was kind of like a dick to me, I was like, dude, thank you so much. And I did the same thing with one of my MTIs from basic training. So you guys are going off. Did you get to deploy with him?
Yeah, I did 2 deployments with him.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Was it your first and second?
First and second, yeah.
Amazing. That's amazing, dude, because then you can really get the breadth of experience.
Yeah.
So walk me through the time. So you're at first active duty station, right? You're out of training. Now you're at your first unit. So I think that's how you referred to it, right? Like you're at unit for the first time. So you're at unit. How long until you had your unit to your first deployment?
I think it was about 5 months.
Yeah, and
about 5 months.
So 5 months, that's not a long time. You beat me out.
Time.
I think I had about 6 or 7 months before my first one. So you had about 5 minutes time. How long was Brooke reunited with you by then?
Gosh, I can't remember when we officially moved over there. I know she hadn't been there long enough that we had received our stuff.
Wow. So you're still waiting for TMO?
We're still waiting for our stuff. Yeah, we had an apartment, sleeping on an air mattress. We didn't have a couch at a time, so we had bought a couch. We had a couch in there. Actually, the day that I was deploying, they knocked on the door to deliver our stuff. So when I left for my first one, sorry, but I'm out of here.
Oh,
so
man.
yeah, that I know the first one for her was an especially rough one because she grew up, and we grew up, high school sweetheart. So she grew up in Yuba City, moved over to Georgia.
You spent the majority of your time in the Army away from her at this point.
Correct. Yeah. So she, ended up, I got a little bit of leave, got married, drove her out there. We were living in Georgia, I think, 1 week after we got married.
Wow.
Um, had an apartment already.
It's a good turnaround.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Got into the apartment, and I think we were there for 10 or 14 days, something like that. And then I was ripping out and going on the first deployment.
Yeah, it's something to be said about the resilience that the military family has to have. I know when Ann and I got married, right? Like we were packing for our honeymoon. We got married a couple days before. I'm poor because
Yeah.
I'm freaking E2 at the time,
Yeah.
maybe E3, I think,
Yep.
or E3, E4. I was in that range, and I was at Travis Air Force Base down the road, and I was like, I'm taking to San Francisco. We're gonna have a weekend. We're just gonna blow the money that I don't have,
Yeah.
and we're just gonna have a good time because I gotta treat my newlywed wife, right? Gotta pull out the stops, and we're packing bags. And I remember my senior, my E8, called me, and he's like, "Hey, you watching the news?" And at the time, I was in the CRG, the Contingency Response Group, and at our time there, it was a wing. So he's like, "Hey, check out the news." So I turn on the news, and there's a massive earthquake in Haiti. Port-au-Prince is in shambles. People are running around,
Yeah.
like just blood and guts, and people are getting crushed, and they're finding bodies. You got whatever that blonde-haired guy's name was going around, Anderson Cooper, I think. He was down there, and
I remember that. It was crazy.
yeah, crazy.
Crazy.
It's mayhem, and he's just like, "Hey, that's where we're going." And I was like, "When are we going?" He's like, "You're coming in like tonight for the briefing." And I knew that like when we had to go down range in the CRG, once you got your briefing, dude, you're on standby. And our mission statement when you signed onto that unit was 12 hours notice, like you can be gone anywhere in the world. So for me, I remember I hear that, I had him on speakerphone, which I'm an idiot now I think about it. Like I had him on speakerphone, so now my wife hears that, and all I hear is her bags drop in the other room. She's stomping into the room. And you've met my wife, she's tiny, but her feet, when she's pissed, they're like 100 pounds. So she's stomping and she's coming into the room. And I remember she's yelling at my senior, and she's like, "Joey Avalon." I'm like, oh my God. You know, like, I'm like almost at parade rest right now because I'm like, I'm going to get murdered because my wife's shooting this guy out. And she's like, "What do you mean?" And he's like, I'm sorry, and he has to pack a different set of bags. And so thankfully, she knew what she's getting into. So she's like, "All right, let's go." And it was a lot better than I thought of the result. And, you know, heading out the door, being newlyweds, I feel for your brother because that sucks. Like we were married for maybe 48 hours, and I got news crews that were there because they want to know the story. "Oh, you guys are going down for Haiti and this and that." So we can't even get, they were interrupting us and they were filming us while she was trying to pray for me. And so like after that, she's like, "I'll be outside, dude." And I was just like, "Ugh, I gotta go." So I like went to the PA officer. I went outside. I remember I was just like talking to the news crews. I was like, "I gotta go. My wife is not happy right now." And I remember going out there and kind of talking to her. And I remember the feeling that I had. I was like, "I hope I'm married when I get back."
Yeah.
Because she was just like, "All right, dude, I guess I'll see you when you get back."
Yep.
And she was so chill like that. I'm pretty sure that's her exact word. She's like, "I guess I'll see you when you get back." And I was just like, I guess so, you know? So feel for you 100%, dude. And so now you're going from here, you're going to Afghanistan, right?
Yeah.
And I had so much fun talking about this, so we just got to completely run through this again. So you get on the plane and you're heading over. What was your first stop? Because like there had to have been some kind of stop in between there and your final destination. Because you landed in Bagram, right?
Yeah.
So what was prior to Bagram?
Generally, we'd fly, we'd land in another state in the U.S.
Sure.
Fly from over there, land somewhere, usually Europe,
Yep.
in that area, and then we'd fly into Afghanistan. Landed in Bagram. I think everybody's first thoughts are when they get over there that you're going to step off the plane and there's just going to be bullets flying and bombs dropping and everything else. We roll off the plane, roll into it's a city, you know, Bagram's huge. Roll into the city, and there's Pizza Hut.
Yeah.
So it was like a little slice of home, you know.
But it wasn't, was it? It was a setup for freaking bubble guts.
It was set up for bubble guts, but
hot snakes.
Yeah. On the way over, Pizza Hut was not very good. On the way home, Pizza Hut was pretty fire.
What was your first experience eating Pizza Hut there?
I think I want to say it was like the first day we got there. We ended up finding it and getting Pizza Hut and green bean coffee.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about that. Green bean is, in my opinion, the greatest thing that the military ever created for caffeine, other than Rippets.
Yep.
I don't know why they don't do green bean in the States.
I don't know why either.
I think that's a robbery because especially for GWAT guys like us, like if I ever saw green bean again, dude, they're taking all my money. I'm buying
I'd go.
stocks.
Yeah.
Like I'm losing my mind because
100%.
that was one of the greatest things ever. It was a little slice of home, but it wasn't,
Yeah.
and it always got the job done. But let's talk about Rip Its, dude, because like Rip Its is a special thing in our lives. You had mentioned that you're a red Rip It guy.
Red Rip It guy.
Yep. I'm a blue Rip It guy, but
Yep.
those are kind of rare. But I did have a plug on the Army side, but and I had a couple dudes that would hoard them. But what is the number one worst Rip It?
Yellow.
Yellow.
Hands down.
Yellow Rip Its. If you like yellow Rip Its, you're a disgusting person, and
Yes.
you need to go get help.
Yeah.
That's a punishment. I put that almost on the same level as the omelet. I just don't know what it was. I always got heartburn when I drank the yellow one. It never sat right, and I was never satisfied. I feel like it was like worse than sugar free. It was just a disgusting flavor. I don't know why. But Rip Its are life. I know you were taken care of though. They took care of you on the compound, right?
We did, yeah. We were
Yeah.
spoiled.
That's
we were
good.
spoiled.
Rightfully so.
Yeah.
Rightfully so. So you experienced the pleasures of green bean coffee, the diarrhea Pizza Hut.
Yep.
I talked to you about how like in Iraq, like they had it set up at the LSA Anaconda side, where all the Porta Johns outside of that West Side PX was just, it was like the greatest number of Porta Johns I've ever seen. It probably must have been 20, 25 Porta Johns. But whenever Pizza Hut was in business, at least like 80% of them were full with people that were just eating Pizza Hut.
Yeah.
So didn't change the fact that it was delicious. I really liked Burger King where you eat questionable Whoppers, but like Pizza Hut was it, dude.
I couldn't do the Burger King over there. I never did it.
Yeah, I'm sure in Afghanistan it was different too, because I've talked to a lot of Afghanistan vets, and they're like, dude, the way you're describing like Burger King over where you're at is not what I experienced. And I'm like, I'm sure the flavors are different.
Yeah.
Different camels out there or something.
Oh,
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
What is the wildest thing you ever ate when you were deployed?
Oh, dude. For whatever reason, the Afghan cooks that we had at the time would put dill pickles in everything. Dill pickle ribs. You'd have dill pickles in your rice. I have no idea why.
They probably just liked it.
I
They thought
guess,
we liked it. I
yeah.
don't know.
So I guess dill pickle ribs and dill pickle rice was probably the weirdest thing that I had made for me while I was over there.
I could deal with ribs. Like it's something.
Ribs are doable.
It's something tangy with some ribs.
Yeah,
Okay,
you just
but
toss them off.
dill pickles and rice though,
Yeah.
man. I'm white and Filipino, but rice is like the main course to me, right?
Yeah.
Like I got raised super Filipino when it came to food. So pickles and rice, bro, that's like a sin. I don't.
It's so bad.
Yeah, it's got to be
It's
bad.
so bad. I like dill pickles.
Yeah.
and not dill pickle rice, dude.
Did it ruin pickles in any way for you, or were you just like, just that combination screwed it?
I don't ever remember eating them when I was in, but I'll eat them every now and again now.
Yeah. Does it ever like kind of give you the shudder? Like you're like, ugh.
Like brings me back.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit.
Dude, so when we have you over for food, I'll make sure not to put any pickles
Yeah,
in the
no
rice.
pickles in the rice, dude.
That's disgusting. Okay. So moving past that. So we talked about before how you had a unique deployment cycle, right? Because I
Yeah.
know typical Army, we talked about it on the podcast with Ray. Shout out Ray. Ray was there for a very long time.
Yeah.
But it was one go.
Yep.
You had a lot of contingencies. Like you went in there for a mission, you get the mission done, you get to go home. What was like the average cycle for you?
Yeah, so we were there. I ended up doing 6 tours, and we were there from 90 to 120 days. I'd
All
say
in Afghanistan?
all in Afghanistan. Yeah. Most of the time, I would say we were sitting right around that 110 day mark, somewhere in that time frame. Just depended when your replacements were coming in. Really, if there was weather, if we were dusted out or not. But most of the time, right in there, 110 days.
Yeah. But you think about that, right? Like in that era, the average Air Force deployment was roughly that amount of time. Like some of us, we went over like 180 days. We went to about like 200 days. I think my first deployment, I was there for about like 210, something like that. So you had these folks that are there for a little bit, but then that's the cycle. And then they go through bans and other things. So you might have a year or 2 years before you go. I was in the CRG, so it was different. I went more frequently, especially TDYs, but you get to go there you do your mission, right, and then you come back. What was like the average gestation for like your rest period and then going back out the door?
Yeah, so it's pretty normal. 2 weeks before you deploy, 2 weeks after you deploy, you have leave.
Yep.
Um, that way you
Get home right.
get your 1 year, or your 1 month a year out of the way for your leave.
Yeah.
So that was pretty much it. So we come back, get our gear cleaned, of course, get everything in order, turn in all the weapons, make sure we get all of our
Reconstitute.
all of our stuff that we signed out. We got to get it all signed back in.
Yeah.
Go get new uniforms, trade in our old stuff from deployment. Just your regular. We called it our CIF issue. So we do all that. Usually have 1 to 3 week, not a rest period per se, but more relaxed. Like maybe we weren't coming in at 0-6 every day to do PT. Or,
like a real standard R&R kind of period.
Yeah, more a little bit of that. They were pretty good at giving us that, because as soon as we got into the training cycle, it was feet running. Yeah. We have a super. It's. I don't know how to say it.
Like robust.
Yeah. It's. I mean, it's one training after another training after another training after another training, and then we're parachute jumps, and then guys are going off to different schools, maybe a shooting school or some sort of. We have guys going to EMT schools. All over the place for different.
So were they
trainings.
going to EMT school because they were going to be kind of like your on the ground medic, like they were like the guy that had some training, so he's going to be your person? Or did you have actual medics assigned?
Yeah, so we always had actual medics assigned to us. A lot of times when we rolled out, we would also have a physician assistant, so we'd have a doc on the ground with us.
Got it.
Too. If we didn't have a physician assistant, we'd have like JTACs with us, or some of those, or JTACs and
controllers.
Your pararescue guys.
Oh, yeah.
Air Force pararescue guys would roll out with us too. And then we'd have, just all. There's so many assets that are at our disposal and kind of worked in with us that we had like numerous different people, especially medical team. So most of the guys that were going to EMT school were guys that were just more or less just doing a little cross training.
Yeah, those guys that were from other branches, right? Like, let's say you have like a JTAC guy, you have maybe a controller or a PJ. Were those guys orienting into your group when you guys were going through, like, let's say fire training? Maybe you're working like a fire team kind of thing, where you're working your maneuvers. Were they able to integrate, and so they were part of your team?
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, they would come over, especially our EOD guys would come over, train with us. We'd have our EOD guys kicking doors with us, everything else.
Were your EOD guys, were they primarily Army, or did you have a good mix bag?
Primarily Army, but we did have other forces. Yeah.
So that's good to hear that you guys had that kind of support, and then they actually were working on the integration and training while you guys are in garrison before the move.
Yeah, they did a lot of our live fire and different exercises with us.
So that's awesome to hear. I'm glad to hear it. It's funny because I went to the NCO Academy in Lackland. I want to date myself. I want to say probably 2018 I went, maybe late 2017. And so I'm down there, and I had a PJ and I had a JTAC guy that was in my class. And so we do it by flights, right? So this is classroom is all it really is. And we're in there, and I remember we had the PJ and we had the TAC-P guy sitting right next to each other. And everyone else is understanding big Air Force talk, right? So you're going through like the PME and everything like that. And I remember the TAC-P guy just could not compute because he was so integrated into Army his whole career. He had a ton of deployments under his belt. And even though the PJ also had a bunch of mixed bag of deployments, he'd been everywhere doing a lot of stuff, because those guys, they get attached to everything.
Yeah.
I remember specifically the TAC-P guy just not be able to understand this material and the communication, how to get things out, because he's so ingrained in the Army culture that the PJ is like, I got him. And he would sit there and just like kind of be bilingual with him, and so to speak.
PJs are the shit.
Yeah, they're awesome. Those guys went through a lot, but I'm thankful I get to, I'm still in touch with the TAC-P guy. Shout out Abel. If you're listening, really great guy, man. He does jiu-jitsu too. So really, we were just talking the other day about how he loves gi more than no gi, and I was like,
gi is the best.
Look, Professor Gus, he says that gi is jiu-jitsu. Yeah. Who am I to argue, brother?
Yeah, who am I to argue? He's got way more experience than I do.
Yeah. So, hey, so you're there. You got these great assets attached to your team. You're in there. You got your rest period. You're going right back into the cycle, and you're getting ready to gear up, and you go down range. So now we're skipping past the whole, initial like, okay, this isn't like the movies,
Yeah.
right? It's not run and gun from the second you
Yeah.
get out of the ship, but you guys hop into some helos and you're getting into action, right? So
Yeah.
is there a particular type of scenario you can walk us through? I know you had 6 deployments, and we could probably talk all day about that, but to give perspective to the folks that are listening to this, uh, I know you got one in mind. We kind of talked about it. So can you kind of just walk us through a mission that you went through and what kind of experiences you had? Because you have a lot of folks like me that are kind of lucky stars that didn't have to discharge my weapon more than twice my whole career, right? When I was downrange. I got very lucky. I'm very blessed. Um, you have folks like Ray, got to experience, as an infantry, going out there and dealing with his stuff downrange. And then you have you as a ranger going downrange. You got a specific set of mission. So what was that kind of like for you, and just kind of walk us through that journey?
Yeah. So at the time, the regular army or the big picture over there was trying to win hearts and minds was the big thing. We're not there to cause a disturbance per se. The unit I was with is a whole different ball game. We were there capture kill. That's all we did. We just hunted the bad guys.
Yeah.
So one mission, we go in and coming in, we land, start our walk into the town. We were going after a certain bad guy in that region. Get in there. We ended up taking over the compound. It goes pretty flawlessly. No shots fired on the way in. For where we were at, we were very blessed on the way in to make it there, let alone to actually get there with no shots fired. So we ended up grabbing the guy, leaving. I think we had found on that target, I want to say I carried off like 80 pounds of black tar heroin with me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was huge. We found massive amounts of black tar heroin over there. That was opiate or poppy at the time was a huge crop over there.
Which is a lot of people don't realize that was like a mecca for it.
Yeah,
it's a lot of grow.
Yeah, it's something crazy. Afghanistan at that time I think was producing like 80 or 90% of the world's opium was coming out of Afghanistan. So we would literally, I mean, we would land in poppy fields like the rice fields around here.
Yeah.
They would be just poppy.
Yeah, and for those of you that don't really understand this area, right? Like we are surrounded for miles by rice fields.
Straight agricultural.
Like even Beale, that's one of the greatest landmarks that we got is like rice fields, And I remember when I first came to the installation, I was like, what is this? It looks like Vietnam. Like at certain times, I'm like, this is like what you see in the movies. This rice field after rice field. Even like going down to Sacramento, you see them all on the freeway. So you landed these poppy fields. So what happened next?
Yeah. So we go in, hit the compound, goes flawlessly. Couldn't ask for anything better. There for a little bit, and we start getting chatter that there's some movement over in whatever direction it was. It was a wadi, or is what it was, a creek bottom.
Okay.
So we start getting into contact. They start shooting at us. Return fire, obviously. Eliminate the threat. I want to say we called in our close air support or something, and they just gun run the ditch line. Eliminated those guys. It was time for us to exfil. Go out. We're on the edge of a somewhat decent sized city, so we need to get out. We can't bring the helicopters in to get out. In the middle of the city, you're gonna get shot down. So we exfil out a couple kilometers outside of the city. Still a lot of compounds, just like in a regular town. You got the main city hub, and you got some smaller little towns and little compounds that are out there, farming towns or whatever. Get loaded up into the bird, take off, and not too long after we got in the air, you've seen the big spotlights that are on top of the malls when they're doing sales, or at the car dealerships, like when they're doing sales.
Was it 20th Century Fox or whatever?
Yeah, exactly. They're doing the things. Well, they had one of those things mounted in the back of a truck or on top of a building. It was something that was there at this compound. So we fly over the compound, and our entire helicopter gets lit up in the sky.
The worst feeling ever, I'm sure.
Yeah. And so as soon as they knew we were there, because we were dropping bombs not 30 minutes prior, so they're looking for us. We're trying to get out of there. Flying out, we get spotlighted, and the whole city erupts. And I mean, there's just machine gun fire. There,
Yeah.
there's we had reports that they had dishkas actually in the city, so the big guns that were shooting at us. So we're getting
Anti-aircraft.
yeah, anti-aircraft guns. So we're getting lit up. On those birds we're flying in, they have two 240s on the back and two miniguns on the front, or vice versa. Maybe it was miniguns on the front, 240s on the back, whatever it was. We went Winchester, so we ran out. Our door gunners ran out. One of our door gunners ended up getting shot. Luckily, just a grazing wound through the shoulder, like just barely got him, just stitched up,
Yeah.
So
A
we
lucky
ended up,
wound.
we ended
Yeah.
up getting out of there, landing back on base, and walk off the helicopter. It just looks like Swiss cheese.
Yeah.
We just got tore up. I think they
it's
had
funny.
shot all of our fuselages at the bottom, so
Yeah.
I think they have some protective thing in there that when they get shot, they have like a foam that releases, so that way the fuel doesn't leak out. So I want to say after that mission, I think they decommissioned the helicopter we were flying on.
I believe it, dude.
Yeah.
It's funny how like that's the universal way to describe getting lit up in any kind of like transport is Swiss cheese.
Yeah.
Because I remember in Blad we had a perimeter, and I remember they used to threaten us in our unit. They'd be like, dude, they're handing out Article 15s if you go any speed below this. And I remember thinking to myself, like, why, right? And I remember I was going about like, because it's 50, you had to go at least 55. That was our rule. And I remember I'm going like 60, 70 miles an hour. I'm just like cooking. I'm literally like hot miking. This particular night, I was hot miking. I had my LMR in between my legs, and I was doing a patrol. And I had just called in a UXO because I was over by the fuel bladders on the installation. And an RPG that was a dud landed, and it bounced on the fuel bladders in front of me. And I remember I was like checking myself to see if I crapped myself. And I was just like, oh my God. So I'm like, I'm pumping myself up. I put on my iPod, like my little spin wheel iPod. I popped that thing into this Dakota I was driving. No, it was an F-350. And I popped it into like the little jack.
You had a Ford over there?
Yeah, we had a 350, dude.
Wow.
And I remember I was driving it back to dispatch. And I remember I'm listening to East 1999 by Bone Thugs and Harmony. And I am blazing this song, dude. I'm getting into it. And
One speaker working?
oh, dude, it was just it's blowing sand.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's
Oh,
just the
yeah.
most disgusting vehicle,
Yeah.
but I don't care. I'm listening to my music from home. And I remember there was a point where I heard like ting ting ting, ting ting ting, but I was like blasting the radio, and I was like whatever. And I got to dispatch, and I remember I get out, and I'm still kind of humming the song as I get in, and there was a light colonel. It was either a light colonel or a full bird, and you could tell he was like the general's underling. He worked for like orderly or something
Yeah.
like that, or like the staff. But he was in there chewing us out because we only had the first responders and like anything base defense, first response, and the general, and like base ops. Obviously, all those other guys are in there, but that was the one radio that we all kept our LMRs on. And he was like, literally as I'm walking in, he's like, "Who the hell was blasting Bone Thugs into the radio for 7 minutes straight?" And I'm like, "Oh shit!" And I'm like pulling a cigarette out, and I'm like kind of like disappearing out
Yeah.
of the trailer, going back over to the
Yeah.
smoke pit. And I'm
Now's
like,
my
"Oh my
time to
God."
go.
Yeah, but I remember I went out to the truck because the truck was parked next to the smoke pit where I was at. I probably shouldn't have parked there, but I parked, and I remember I looked at the thing when I was smoking a cigarette. I was looking at the side of the vehicle, and it was lit up on the passenger side, and it looked like Swiss cheese. So like, I
Yeah.
hear Swiss cheese, it really just jogs that specific memory, because I just remember I'm like, if I would have gone any slower, I probably could have taken it inside the cab of the vehicle, because we were right outside of an oasis on that way, and that oasis, I don't remember our snipers, and we had Army snipers, we had Air Force snipers, we might have had some Marines that were there, but it was mostly Army and Air Force. I don't remember them getting one kill, taking out a single sniper from that oasis, because it's just like palm trees everywhere on this one portion of the base. And it was the worst part, because that oasis, that's where all the small arms fire went. I don't know if you and I talked about like the little Iraqi kids, like a little. I think Ray and I actually talked about that. The little Iraqis, they all look like Bob Marley. They're like in disgusting, dusty, dirty, muddy clothes. Their hair was all matted, so it looked like they had dreads, but they're just like really dirty kids from like the town of I want to say like Tikrit, and they're just all over there, and they would beg you for candy.
Yeah.
And if you gave them candy, they were your best friend.
Yep.
And they would even like help you out, right?
Yeah.
But the second you didn't give them candy, they're like, F you, F America.
Oh,
And you're
yeah.
like, whoa, dude. And then all of a sudden you're getting shot at. Like, it was
Yeah.
always crazy how that worked out.
Yep.
And after a while, we were like, no, F them kids, throw rocks at them. Like, you know, and I chuck rocks. After about the third time it happened, I was like, nah, man. I see the kids, I throw a rock. I'm like, get out of here, you know? Because I was tired of getting shot at.
Yep.
And yeah, I remember distinctly one of my jobs. I had to go outside the wire. I kind of talked to Ray about it. And I got lit up. And I remember that was the moment I was like, I'm never going to hang out with those kids. I'm never going to be nice. It's too dangerous to play with these kids. We're moving targets. But I just remember, like, the kids were always there. The Oasis was in close proximity, and they'd shoot at you. And now you're scrambling because that's a pretty wide open area. You'd have to hopefully get behind an armored Humvee, get behind a T-barrier or something like that, and then hope for the best. So, yeah, the Swiss cheese thing, dude, that's I'm glad you mentioned that. It brings back some memories.
Oh, yeah.
So you get back from this mission. I imagine you had quite a few like it, right? Like you had plenty of firefights.
Yeah, lots of gunfights.
That has to take a
pretty
toll.
regular thing.
Yeah. So you're coming home from missions like these, and you got to go home back to the wife and kids.
Yep.
What was that kind of like for you? Because I know you kind of talked about how like you're very good about pressing forward, but what was like the things that you kind of experienced that you kind of share with folks that might have gone through it, or things that are just kind of wondering what it was like to be able to come home after such a crazy event like that, going on deployments and running and gunning?
At first, I don't think it wore on me much. I think after, number 3, 4, 5, 6, it kind of wears on you. I know I was grumpy.
Yeah.
I know I wasn't the easiest person to live with at the time. But I think the thing that mostly kept me sidetracked away from it is probably just how demanding the training cycles were. Because we would, we'd come back, we'd have a little time, hang out with the wife, hang out with the wife, one kid at the time, go do as much as you can on your leave, and then you're right back at it getting training, So I think that the rapid deployment cycle and the rapid training cycle kind of helped not bog you down, or at least not bog me down, like I think keeping busy kind of gave me a purpose. It kept me driving forward, you know.
Do you think a lot of veterans they lose track of that sense of purpose, and they kind of lose track of the fact that like there's something to do, there's something to get into, and that's why they kind of fall off?
I do. I think I know even when I got out, I was kind of like looking for that, all I knew, I'm joining 18 years old, all is the military.
Yeah.
So getting out was a major adjustment. But I think you just have to be able to, your time is over, you that part of your life is behind you. So let's find something else.
Yeah.
That'll give you that purpose. That'll give you that fulfillment or whatever.
Yeah. I think that's the key words right there, dude. Like finding that next thing.
Yeah.
Right. Like, man, so I did 20 years.
Yeah.
I never thought I would be falling victim to the depression.
Yeah.
And that first 2 weeks after, dude, I was a mess.
Yeah.
And I didn't think I was. Like, I was having good conversations with my family. I was like, yeah, man, this is great, dude. I'm retired. I get to hang out, get to do the things. We were just talking about this before we started this video. It's like, every day's a Friday, right? Like, it kind of is in a sense, right? Like, that's pretty awesome, right?
Yeah.
But man, dude, like I remember that first couple weeks, I was like, all those bottles I got at my retirement ceremony, they need some drinking.
Yeah.
And I remember I was slamming those bottles, I was getting into it pretty deep, and I'm like, my party days are over. I did that. I probably had like a 1 or 2 year period where I lost my mind, and it is what it is. I lost my mind, and thankfully my wife brought me out of that, so I don't party as hard, right? And if I do drink, it's usually for like a special occasion, right?
Yeah.
Or if I'm doing like a podcast or a nightcap or something, right? Like I've grown up a little bit.
Yeah.
But I pounded pretty hard on the liquor when I got out, and it was something that I realized right away because I poured more into jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
But dude, I didn't have that much of a sense of purpose. So until I started getting back into like, all right, what do I do? Well, I'm not serving in the military. Maybe I'll serve my wife. Maybe I'll just like make her food.
Yep.
I had to find something to do every single day when I woke up to get me back up off my feet. And I honestly think that saved me.
Yeah.
Kept me from just being useless when I first retired.
Yeah, it's very easy to fall into that.
Yeah.
Almost like never-ending hole.
The void.
The void. And it's so hard to climb out of it. Once you climb out of it, like I said, you just got to find a different purpose or a different way to fulfill that thing inside you that, you know, you need that drive.
For sure.
Yeah.
And what was it for you that you found, like when you're out? So now you go through the medical retirement, right?
Yeah.
You went through the all the phase of out processing. You're done. You're back at home now. So what was the thing that kind of like got you there to that next step of like, here's my new mission?
Yeah. Yeah. So I got medically retired. Had a bad parachute jump. Had somebody, they call it stealing the air. We used to call it sky sharking. Pretty much, parachute catches the air, leaves an empty air pocket above it. Well, that air has to, you know, fill back in. So the air fills back in. Well, if you come over that empty air pocket and you catch it, there's nothing there. So your parachute ends up deflating, or so you have left lift capability, you know?
Yeah.
So we had a new guy, was jumping with a new guy. The number one rule is, well, a lot of times we jump next to the airfield, so you can land on the tarmac, on, you know, on like on the asphalt. So the number one rule is you don't pull your slip, you don't steer away from the asphalt. If you're going to land on it, you land on it, because otherwise you come underneath somebody, sky shark them. So I ended up, had a new guy, slipped away, came underneath me, parachute collapsed, I don't know, 25, 30 feet up, something like that.
Wow.
Ended up slamming down, herniated a bunch of discs in my lower back. So I ended up getting ended up getting medically retired. Ended up getting medically retired, got out, and yeah, I think what helped me get over like I wouldn't say dark times. I don't think I was in a dark place.
I'm sure it was disappointment.
I was a little bitter. I wasn't quite ready to go. I was thinking about getting out, but I wasn't 100% sure that I was yet.
But now you didn't get to do it on your own terms.
Exactly. So I was looking at other options. I was interested in going to physician assistant school. The Army has a good physician assistant program. And then I was also looking at possibly pilot school. Had the test scores to do both, so it was no big deal, qualified for both. So ended up getting out. Got medically retired, and I think at the time I was waiting. I wanted to join. I was going to go to be a police officer, was my thoughts at the time. I think after the med board process, I was a little bitter on the uniform services at the time, you know, because I kind of got told like, hey, essentially you're not good enough anymore, even though I really couldn't do the job anymore.
But even if it's because of medical reasons, it doesn't soften the blow.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, I'm sure it doesn't, because I've met countless folks, and I've unfortunately had to like be there in the darkest times for folks that did receive that same news.
Yeah.
It doesn't help. And like for me, especially when I first became a first sergeant, trying to have those conversations, when let's say I got a guy that's like, I got nothing. Dude, you got a family, you got this and that, you got a whole... They're like, I don't care, dude. They're like, I was doing what I loved.
Yeah.
And then now I can't do it anymore because of what, I got injured. Like, the heart is still there. So just let me get out there, you know?
Yeah.
So, I totally can relate to that. So you get that point where you're like, okay, maybe not the uniform services.
Yeah.
So what happened next?
Yeah, so ended up getting an opportunity in construction. Never in a million years would I have pictured myself, you know, pushing a shovel at 25, almost 26 years old, starting out in construction. But ended up getting into it and absolutely fell in love with it. Now I think I'm over 10 and a half years now at the same company. So it's been great. But at the time, the construction industry was so busy that it was a constant 80, 90, 100-hour week, you know, working. So I think that need and that drive, like, hey, I got to go work. I think that helped my transition a lot, because it gave me like a new sense of purpose. Like, hey, you know, started out just pushing a shovel, but eventually I was, you know, leading, you know, I was in charge of a couple guys, and I got my guys counting on me, and then I'm in charge of more guys, and I got more guys counting on me. I don't go to work. Now there's 10 guys that aren't going to work, you know? So it was like, it was nice to have that
mission.
Exactly. So there you had guys counting on you, you know, if you had what you need to get done every day. And eventually I would say that those feelings or whatever just passed.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just took time.
In worst case scenario, at least you move forward, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm sure the feeling, I'm sure the memory, it's all still there. right?
Yeah.
But
Oh,
like,
yeah.
but you learn over time to. I hate when I hear people say the words "moving on" or
Yeah.
"you'll get over it." I'm like, it's not quite that easy. But like when you have things that you hang on to, you learn to live
Yeah.
with those things. You learn to live with the truth, with the matter of facts of like what happened, right? And then now you're into this career that you're falling in love with, right? At what point did you get back into wrestling? Because we talked about this a little bit the other day. You had your kiddo that was involved in wrestling.
Yeah.
I'm sure that was like a whole nother like awesome adventure. But can you walk us through that whole
Yeah.
wrestling
Yeah.
journey again?
So I have this year going to be a sophomore. He was just playing football. And one of the football coaches was one of the assistant wrestling coaches also. Ended up having him come out for wrestling. I had been trying to get him to go to wrestling since kindergarten.
Yeah.
Because we moved back here when he was 5, so he was in kindergarten when I got out. So I've been trying for years and years and years, K through 8th, trying to get him to do it. Got him to do it 1 year, and then he liked it, and then it was just like, I don't want to wear the singlet. I don't. That's not me.
It's not my bag.
Yeah, not my thing.
Yeah.
No spandex for me. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay,
No
that's
swag
fine.
in that
Yeah,
department.
yeah. So anyway, he ended up getting convinced his freshman year to go out, and I was like, oh hell yeah, because wrestling at the time, that probably still is my favorite sport, even over jiu-jitsu, I would say.
Oh, you have a lot of history there.
Yeah.
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 It makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So he ended up going out for the high school team. Ended up making varsity his freshman year. He was wrestling at the 106-pound weight class, a whopping 104 pounds, I think.
If only.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the head coach over at River Valley was, at the time, used to be a head coach on one of the different high schools when I was wrestling. So he's been coaching now for, gosh, I can't remember how long Ramos has been coaching. It's been like 33 years or something crazy like that. Mm-hmm. So I kind of knew him. So I hit him up and I was like, hey, do you mind if are you guys looking for an assistant coach to come help out? Like, hey, this is my background, I wrestled for a lot of years, have a little bit of military, I think I'd be a good fit. I can do all your background checks and everything. So I ended up getting in, kind of just helping out a couple times a week and go to the matches when I could, when work allowed. And then, I started on that. It'd be about 2 years ago now, 2.5 years ago, back over at the high school. And then I've been, helping assistant coach over there.
That's amazing.
Ever since. Try to do as much as I can. Like I'm usually good for twice a week or so. I got about an hour commute for work, so it kind of cuts into my time a little bit. But yeah, try to make it over there 2 or 3 times a week, and then I make all the matches, all the tournaments, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Dude, that's amazing, man. And then you get to be able to be involved in the lineage of coaching.
Yeah.
That you were brought up in, and then
Yeah.
now you're taking a part in your son's game. Did your son go to the same school that your wife's at?
Yep. No,
okay.
He didn't. So my wife works in the school district too, but she works at a different elementary school than what he's in.
Yeah, I would be remiss if I didn't give her a shout out again. The other day I was giving a shout out to your wife, Brooke. She is a constant professional. I had the pleasure of working with her by your recommendation. You had asked if I was available, and I got some of my defenders to come on. I got a few of my SWAT guys to go to a Veterans Day event, and I got to speak, and we teamed up with, I believe it was either American Legion or VFW. I want to say it was American Legion local. And we got to kind of just speak to the youth, and she ran a fantastic event. Awesome human being. You guys are definitely a power couple, and I just want to give a shout out to Brooke. Like, dude, I'm still blown away by that. It's one of the I've done a lot of random like community service things, but to be a part of that event and to see that it was like your wife doing it, I was like, dude, I'm not even surprised, dude, because like you're already a great dude, and then to meet your wife and to see her professionalism, to see how she ran events, and to see that like she made us military guys and even the old vets that were there, we were all at home.
Yeah.
When it was chaos, she like kind of like nipped it in the butt, and I was just like, dude, like shout out, she's a beast.
Yeah.
So thank you, Brooke. Yeah, dude, like you guys are freaking awesome, man. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure I put that out there because it's really important to acknowledge the sacrifices and the amazing things that our partners do, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, man, like you're going in there, you're getting into wrestling, and then what got you to jiu-jitsu? Like, what was the thing that took you from your home base, like your wrestling pedigree, and brought it to jiu-jitsu?
Yeah, so originally when I was in construction, I was traveling a lot. I'd work in San Jose Monday through Thursday, And then I'd come back home Friday, usually work Friday in SAC, usually work Saturday in SAC,
Yeah.
Wash my clothes Sunday, back down to San Jose Monday. So I
journey.
so I got tired. I got tired of that grind of constantly being away. We had another son now. He's 7. And so when we had our second one, I was kind of looking to not be away. I had missed with my first son, with all the deployments and everything else. His first birthday and first Easter that I made, he was 5. So I was over that life, and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to try to do it with the second one. I want to be there for my oldest days through, the upper middle school through high school,
the heavy days,
the important years, or not that the other ones aren't important, but
but these are like super crucial, right? Because they're more developed.
Yeah,
they're more conscious of whether or not we're home. I mean, that's one of the main reasons why I retired.
Yeah,
was I was looking at the relationship I had with my kids, and I was like, I don't want to fracture this. Like, this is time I'll never get back. You know. So go ahead.
Yeah, so I ended up going back to college for construction management. Didn't finish for the second time. But
School.
We're still working on it. All right. And so I got close to my associates. Told the company that I had been with at the time for like 6.5 years. I was like, hey, I'm going back to college. This is kind of what I want to do. I just want to let you know that I'm not afraid of leaving here if you're not going to give them the opportunity, but I'm graduating in this date. So anyway, so they ended up giving me a shot at our sister company that I work for now. So that way I didn't have to travel anymore. So now I just work out of the Sacramento area, home every night, Monday through Thursday thing.
It's awesome.
Yeah. So that's been nice.
Yeah. I can't imagine like just the security of that. Like the thing I noticed the most about getting out, like being done. So I had like my terminal leave period, right? And I was very fortunate enough to do skill bridge, and at the time the military didn't like cut it down. And like I'm gonna be honest, like for those of you that like listen that are still active duty that might be like bitching and complaining about the skill bridge program, skill bridge is a gift. And if you get 90 days, 30 days, 60 days, take it, right? It doesn't matter. I was very fortunate. I got the maximum. I think I got hooked up because I was organizational leader and I had my 20 years or whatever. But like skill bridge is incredible because it helped me to like decompress. But during that time, the thing that really hit me the most about being home with family was my son. He woke up, went to school. I said good morning to him, whatever. He goes to school. He comes back. And I remember I was sitting on the couch. I just got done like cleaning the house. And I'm like chilling, watching YouTube or something. Probably watching like something for jiu-jitsu class I was going to teach or something. Just kind of get some refined stuff. And my son walked in and he walked up to me. And Ethan's like, Dad, the thing I love the most is that I get to come home now and you're there.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn. Because there's so many times that like I would get home, I would leave early while my son's still asleep. I might catch him before school. And I come home and I'm having to wake him up to say goodnight.
Yeah.
And it happened for so many years in his childhood. And that really ate me up. Because my son's 13.
Yeah.
And my daughter's 15. And my daughter had a lot of like hard times she went through because girls can be girls. And my daughter went through a really hard period. And I remember feeling so guilty. I almost like separated. I almost said, fuck retirement. I'm just going to get out and figure it out.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for Ann, I probably wouldn't have retired. But I also had a lot of people in my ear that were like, don't be an idiot, use your resources, do whatever you got to do, like make it to retirement, right? So I'm thankful we both got the retirement that we can sit there and deal with those benefits. But dude, like that was some hard years the last few years.
Yeah.
So you're home, you're with family, and then you're more local. You get to actually go home every night.
Yeah.
You're working in the Sacramento area. Where did jiu-jitsu come in?
Yeah. So when I switched from the old job was pretty physically demanding. So I was out, working, digging, doing something every day.
Yeah.
The new job is purely desk-based. And I was like, man,
gotta do something.
I'm going to get fatter than I even am, So I got to go do something. So it was me by myself. And I was like, I'm not just going to go lift weights by myself.
Yeah.
I tried it and I was like, man, I had a lifting buddy when I was in for years. His name's Keith, best friend. Keith's the shit. Yeah, so me and him, we stayed at the gym, every day. And if I didn't want to go, he did. If he didn't want to go, I did. So it was perfect. And then it
Yep.
was just me there, lifting weights, walking
It's
on the
not the
treadmill,
same.
running on the treadmill, and I'm like, God, this is miserable. And I ended up seeing one of the guys that used to go to the gym, moved away, Dustin Kehoe. I saw,
Love Dustin.
yeah,
Shout out Dustin and shout out Gorilla Gear.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I saw Dustin had posted. I don't remember what it was. I think maybe he had gotten a stripe on his white belt or something, and I was like, you know what? He's a big ass dude. I was like, maybe I was
big
like,
boy.
yeah, I want to get. I was like, there's nothing you can wrestle, but I'm old. I'm gonna be going against these young guys, and I was like, well, how about I try jujitsu?
Yeah.
And so I saw Dustin was going to ground up, and so I hit him up, and I was like, hey, I want to try a class, and he was like, yeah, hit up Jag, and do your stuff. And so I ended up doing stopped in with Jag, and went in with Dustin one day, and yeah, I've never left.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. Probably for sure my favorite hobby.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Dude, you and Dustin are my two favorite and the most painful big guy roles that I've ever
And we
had.
almost look the same.
Like, dude, like you guys just like I remember when you showed up, and I remember I was like, we have another Dustin. Because I remember I rolled with you for the first time, and I was like, this guy is not a fucking joke. Like, this guy is like super strong, he's super athletic. I was really blown away. Like, I was like, you're a big dude. And obviously you've trimmed down a lot, right?
Yeah.
Like, cause how much were you when you first
Yeah,
started?
started over at jiu-jitsu probably around 260, 265. Yeah.
But you were freaking athletic. You were throwing
Yeah.
that weight around fast.
Yeah.
And to see a big dude like you move the way you do, I remember I was like, oh no. And I think I'm sure we were both.
You're a white belt, I
Yeah,
believe.
I was a white
I
belt.
think so.
I might have been like toward the back end of it, but like
You
I
might
was.
have been a blue, maybe. I can't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember either, but like I just remember I was like, dude, this guy's gonna be a freaking problem. And Dustin already was a problem. Like we were both blue belts, and Dustin was coming into his own before he moved away. I was like, dude, this guy's figuring it out. He figured out Keisugatami, and he loved Keisugatami. And I remember every time he got me in that, dude, I'd be suffering. So yeah, like seeing you guys go. Shout out to Justin, dude, or Dustin. I'm so glad he got you into it because like you've been an asset in our gym. You're a great teammate. What was day one like?
Oh,
And I'm
man.
really curious to hear about like how your day one interactions were with Jag, because like our professor Jag is like notorious for just like creating these like incredible moments that you just always reminisce about.
Yeah.
But like, what was day one and what was day one with Jag like?
So day one, I think my first match or my first exposure when I walked in for the warm-ups, I think it was with Bobby. A brown belt Bobby at the time. Little
Yep.
160 pound
If that,
guy.
soaking wet for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I looked at him and I was like, I'm going to beat the shit out of this guy. Absolutely. Not a doubt in my mind.
This is a great warm up.
This is a great warm-up. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I was like, brown belt? Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And Bobby proceeded to beat the shit out of me.
As he does with everyone.
Yeah, nice
Yeah.
and slow and controlled, and just choked me from every way that you could imagine.
Yeah.
And that was my first match. And then I think after that, I ended up, I think I rolled with Justin, of course, straight killer.
Yep.
I got him. Dustin Kehoe was there. Ryan at the time, I think Ryan was a purple belt, I believe.
He was scary as a blue belt, dude. And even now as a
Yeah.
brown belt, he's just so disgusting.
So I pretty much just got my ass beat all day.
Yeah.
Bobby beat my ass. Justin beat my ass. Ryan beat my ass. Dustin smashed the shit out of me. So it was like, all right, dude, welcome to jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, there's no way that this little guy should be able to do that to me.
You got to figure this out.
And I got to figure it out.
Yeah.
And so I ended up signing up,
Yeah.
rolled with Jag, of course. Jag, I don't even know. He put me in probably 15 Kimuras that
Yeah.
day. I don't
Just show you, like,
this side,
the
to
whole
that
repertoire
side.
of Kimura.
Oh yeah, that
Yeah.
armbar, and I wanted probably a punch choke or something in there. And
Yeah.
I got it all.
What's the most embarrassing thing that Jag's ever gotten you in? Because I have at least two I could think about that I just like I hate, but it's so funny. I laugh about it today because obviously he's doing it out of just for good fun. But
Yeah.
you know how he gets us in those submissions.
I don't even have one off the top of my head because there's just been so many that I'm like, oh, that was a terrible idea on my part. Just so many things that he's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I'm just flipping around until something works.
Yeah, the first time, so he got me a knee bar the first time I rolled, and he was very gentle with it because I didn't even feel any pain. It was just like I knew it was bad, so I tapped.
Yeah.
There's two things that he's done to me that I will never forget. And like anytime I see him messing with a new guy, I'm like, yes, I'll stop and I'll watch him. I could be in the middle of a roll and I'm like, hang on, watch, just to see what he does to the new guy, right?
Yeah.
And like, he got me with a muffler before.
Oh yeah, he's done
and he suffocated me with my gi.
Yeah.
Right. And he's done. Has he gotten you with the Yakuza tap? He takes his thumb and he puts it in your neck. It's so funny, dude. Like it makes you tap and then you just laugh about it, and it's always in good fun, right? But the worst one I've ever seen, and I know he's gonna give me so much grief, but I just don't care because it's my podcast. So sorry, Caleb. When Caleb was newer to the gym, I watched Jag put his gi over his face and kind of wrap it around, and then took his belt and wrapped around his neck. And there was nothing that Caleb could do about it. And I was just like, brother, like, you just got assassinated, dude. Like, and that's something that is a forever memory.
Yeah.
I will never forget that, dude. Professor Jag is like the dude.
Yeah.
It's awesome to see. I can't wait to get him on the podcast because like his martial arts background, the stories.
It's insane.
Yeah, it'll be great to have, man. So that's awesome that you got the Jag treatment too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I got the Jag treatment.
It gives me the warm and fuzzies to know that he also got you the same treatment.
You can't come to Ground Up without the Jag treatment.
Yeah, if you don't, it's just not tradition.
Yeah.
You know?
If you haven't had it yet, it's coming.
Yeah. Here's something that we didn't talk about the other day. What's your favorite sub?
Favorite sub? Punch choke.
Yeah. Punch choke pretty decent. I think you got a really good bread cutter, dude. Like your bread cutter is scary.
I like the bread cutter.
Yeah, you have a great amount of control when you get to
Yeah.
that top side position. I remember I effed around and I found out with you. I remember I was like, I don't know if it was my knee or something that was giving me some trouble, and I wanted to kind of push it with you. And I was like, I better not, because I know he's not going to make it easy. And I was like, I'll probably hurt myself trying to stop you. So I was like, I think I'll just like play guard, see what happens. And then while I was like meticulously going through the motions of trying to figure out what I wanted to do with you, you had already passed my guard. And I was like, oh no. And I remember you went for the underhook and you grabbed, and I remember I was doing my defense and I was trying to stop your elbow and I just couldn't stop it.
Yeah.
And it was like the slowest death imaginable. And when it finally set in, I was like, I should have just tapped earlier.
Yeah.
Because I just suffered for no reason.
Yeah. I like to do it nice and slow.
Yeah, dude, it's awesome because it's like now it's like you have this downward motion, you got the position, you got the pressure, everything. I'm not gonna win.
No.
You just got to not quit.
Yeah.
You know. And that's one thing I know that you do. You definitely commit in the right way to subs, and I love it. But you're a good punch choker, huh?
Punch
chokes are the shit.
Punch chokes, I love them.
How do you like to do it?
I like in guard, overhook to far side lapel.
Yep.
And then you can usually angle out and kind of get somebody off balance,
Yep.
and they'll open the neck up, and then you can just
So you like to do the punch choke from the guard?
from the guard.
Yeah, I like that too. I'll be honest with you, I haven't found too much success with that. Usually a newer guy, I like to set up a butterfly sweep. And then on the mount is when I punch it.
Yeah. I've been hitting a lot. I've been focused on arm bars lately, though. That's been my big thing, trying to hit them from both sides. So not my favorite submission, but probably my most used submission right now.
Dude, that's good, man. Because I think one thing that really starts to set people apart from like white belt to the next level is when you start to use fundamental techniques and you're doing them well.
Yeah.
I think it's very underrated. I think a lot of people they fall in love with the technicality of certain things, and they want to try the cool things. You got white belts doing barambolos and stuff like that. And like, yeah, that's cool and fine and dandy, but like if you can't finish an arm bar, you're already behind by the time you're at blue belt. And I learned that too, as like when I was a blue belt going to purple. For me, one of the things was, am I not only solidifying my fundamentals, am I getting my control in my top position or in a control position, and am I starting to wear them down? Am I controlling them and then I set a trap? Or am I doing that during the roll where I'm making them think one way and I go the other way? I was really well coached, and I'm very thankful that I had people like Justin, Professor Jag, that are grinding me out and telling me things directly, like, dude, you need to start thinking about this. And I'm seeing you starting to really thoroughly expand the direction that you're taking for your jiu-jitsu, and I think it's really paying off, man.
Yeah.
Because every roll with you gets tougher and tougher, and I couldn't love it more. Like, another guy that I think is super, super hard ever since we were white belts, Mike Covington, dude.
Oh, dude, Mike. Yeah.
Mike is a savage.
Grips.
Yeah, I had a roll with him last night.
I was watching you guys.
Yeah, the only thing I could think about last night, like as soon as we got done, I was like, holy shit, Mike.
Yeah.
That was like our first reaction. We're like, dude,
yeah,
that was insane. And to see the journey that we had, I could see what he's doing to develop, and I'm developing.
It was nothing crazy. Like it wasn't
crazy,
like scrapping or like
we
rolling.
weren't flying around,
like,
but it was very technical.
And
yeah, every time one of us would throw the sub, the other dude's there, and then they find a way to capitalize and sweep and get on top and get control. And it was just like either one of us at any moment were in trouble. And I remember I looked at him, I was like, dude, I think that's probably our favorite roll, and I've rolled with him for years now.
Yeah.
But dude, what a savage, bro! Especially when he gets his hands on you.
Dude, Mike's grips are insane.
Yeah,
Absolutely insane.
The only person in the gym that I can compare to as far as grips is Choppa.
Yeah.
And like he's a pipe fitter, so it's like, dude, that makes sense, right? He's got Wrecker Ralph hands, but like Mike, it's like Ray and I used to joke about it with Mike. You ever get you with the behind the back?
Yeah.
When he was first starting out.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, dude, he's out there. He's on the job right now.
Yeah.
You know, like, I'm under arrest, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
And,
there's not a single person that's not getting arrested by Mike.
Yeah, dude, like, good luck, civilian population, bro. You're screwed.
Yeah, come here.
Yeah, dude, the guy's a savage, man. And we have so many good dudes that that bring, like, a different flavor. It's cool that you can go with other people. And then I think as you start to expand your game, I go into you and I'm like, all right, I got a certain game plan for Ryan, and you got a certain game plan for me.
Yep.
We go to Justin, I'm like, all right, I got to watch out for this freaking scissor sweep from hell that no one can stop. I'm pretty sure he's black belt certified on that sweep 10 times over. But you got all these dudes. You even got like Gavin. Gavin's got like the kind of like slow and steady half guard game. You got Ray with his leg locks. And we have so many different dudes in our gym, and we can't help but level up. But all I can think about is like when one dude gets better, I'm like, oh, I got to get better.
Yeah.
And then we really like push each other, right?
Yeah.
And
it's cool to see that progression just across the board.
Yeah. But would you say that's kind of like reminiscent of the military culture where like you have folks that are like we're not going to give it to you.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to give you an easy round.
Yeah. I mean, your white belts are your privates.
Yeah, dude. Like, I don't want to freaking give you an easy round, but like if you're pushing me, dude, I'm going to push you. And we make each other elevate. And I think for jiu-jitsu's sake, like in that realm, for me, jiu-jitsu has been one of the saving graces for me, not just like physically and like sense of purpose, like as a man, but like also like as a veteran, losing that sense of community to an extent, right? I'm still connected, but like I still got buddies, and I still go on base and I visit my old unit, and I got dudes I give advice to still to this day. But like I'm looking at what does that do for me, and for me, one of the biggest things I took out of jiu-jitsu was that like I have to earn it.
Yep.
It's not a free handout. I hate just getting free handouts when it comes to something I'm investing my time and effort into.
Yeah.
And I see what we do in the mat, and it's like, dude, they're going to give you a hard ass round. Like, even Professor Jack, like when he puts you in a roll, he's guiding you.
Yeah.
Like, let's not get it twisted. These black belts, like even Professor Andrew, Professor Gus, you roll with those guys, Justin, Brown Belt Ryan.
Yep.
These guys, they're guiding you sometimes, and like you got to try to take what they're giving you because they're putting you through the test. And when they're doing that, they're giving you an opportunity to elevate. And I see folks like you that you're in the gym and you're grinding, you're showing up all the time. And like, I know when folks like you show up, I'm like, today's going to be a good day. Like, we're going to get something in. Even if I get my butt whooped today, I get smashed to hell, I'm going to learn something. I'm going to elevate. And at the very least, I'm going to learn resilience.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to learn to freaking muscle through the ass whooping.
Yep.
And that's all I can be thankful for, is that I'm going to get something out of this every single day I go in the gym.
There's plenty of days that I go in there and I just get my ass beat all day.
Yeah, dude. And like, there's days, dude, like I've rolled and I make the mistake of not trying to get you early, and I'm like, oh God, I haven't rolled with Ryan yet. Yeah. And then you see me and I'm like, let's get it, bro.
I'm always out there hunting for somebody.
Yeah, dude. And like, you're one of those guys that stays late, and like we're in there, we're rolling hard until we're spent. And I think that really does set us apart from folks that are just in it to like, oh, I'm just gonna have some fun. And so, dude, like I'm trying to get right in this thing. I'm trying to do this thing and see how far it can take me. And you not only that, but as a competitor, you take that, you put it against people that you don't know. Like it's inevitable. You're going to run into someone, probably compete again. Like if you're constantly competing, it's probably going to happen.
Yeah.
I haven't competed much since I got my blue belt. I had one blue belt competition, and I'm getting ready to compete, hopefully alongside you.
Yep. October.
In October, right? So we got a bunch of dudes that are gearing up for this October competition, and dude, I know I'm gonna run into somebody.
I'm ready already.
You know, yeah, let's freaking
I
go,
can't
right?
wait.
And like, if it's today, it's today. If it's tomorrow, if it's in a couple months, screw it. Let's go. Let's just have fun. But like to see you go in there and knock it out, especially recently in Reno, it's really, really a testament to you. I know you have a lot of people that like are there to support you along the way and get you prepared, but like, it's what you invest.
Yeah.
When I see people that are complaining about their progress, and I see them showing up once every now and then, I can't feel bad for them.
No.
Because they're not in there grinding it out.
Yeah.
For folks that are going through it, but they're working hard and they're in there all the time, that's what we're there for as a team, and we help lift each other up and get each other through the plateaus. But at the end of the day, it's all on you, and that's what I love so much about jiu-jitsu, dude.
I think that's what I fell in love with wrestling too. It's you know, if you lose, it's 100% on you. It's not. There's nobody else's fault that you got pinned.
Because even if it's the circumstances of that match, how did you train? How did you rest?
Yeah.
How did you recover? How did you deal with your rehab? When you had injuries, did you take it lightly? Did you hydrate even? Hydration is a big thing. A lot of people don't think about that. In jiu-jitsu, it's like, did you blow your wad on your grips in your first match when you know you had like multiple rounds?
Yep.
Did you maybe like overcommit to something? There's always something that can fall back on you. And I think I love that about jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
About grappling sports in general, wrestling included, right? Like, you go in there, and at the end of the day, yes, it is an individual sport. It is an individual sport because it's just you and your opponent. But dude, when you go in there and you go battle with somebody, you leave it all out there, but at the same time, it's like you make your decisions out there. You have coaches, but I'm sure like you've heard it in previous competitions where like they've been yelling at it the whole time. Like, did you hear me saying that? I'm like, I didn't hear shit. Like, all I heard was breathing and the sound of like my first competition, the sound of a gi ripping my face off.
Yeah.
You know, like
just straight tunnel vision.
Yeah, tunnel vision, dude. And like, but the preparation, what you do leading up to the match is just as important. And I see folks that are in there and they put in the work, and folks that aren't doing that, man, put in the work, dude. Like, you got to go in there and you got to give it your all. And I think it's a great advantage to be a veteran going into a combat sport. It doesn't even matter. Like, I'm repping the OVN gear I have right now. Like OVN is really cool because you have ambassadors from different sports, and like for them, their therapy is MX racing, or we're very fortunate to have MMA fighters like Connor Matthews, former combat controller, fighting in the UFC, and he's a coach and he's doing things, he's cornering people. You got Liz Carmouche fighting for championships. You know, you have NASCAR racers and all these other sports. It's like, dude, you got to get into something. You have to do something to kickstart the next chapter of your life when you're out of the military. And a lot of people take that for granted. And I'm glad to hear that you took those steps for yourself, man, because it's clearly paying dividends for you. It's paying dividends for your family.
Yeah.
And dude, you're a hell of a teammate, bro, and I'm proud to train with you.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Jiu-jitsu is, I wouldn't say it's changed my life, but it's changed my life.
Yeah.
It's a absolutely fantastic sport.
Yeah. And at worst case scenario, gets in shape, gets your mentals right, you know?
Yeah.
Like, what grown man with testosterone still left in the system can't go with a little bit of battle, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, you go in there and you do things the right way. You prepare yourself. You still take care of your family. You're not just like going biased and swinging one way. You're a professional. You're working a hard job. You take care of your family. You put food on the table. You take care of your loved ones. And then you go in there and you hang out with your family on the mats.
Yep.
And you put in the work, dude, and you get a benefit from it. And I think you earn every bit of that. And it's beautiful to be able to sit here with you, to hear your story, to be able to talk about the military service part, to talk about how, you know, it does have an impact, but you can also do something about it.
Yep.
I really hate when I hear people talk about, especially the mental health realm, when they're not being active and doing things to take care of themselves, because when you have the ability to do something about it and you don't try, you're only failing yourself, dude. And unfortunately, for a lot of us, there's second, third order effects. Like, your family gets affected, your finances get affected, you might jump into a bad habit, right? Like, I got out of the military and I love me some CBD and I love me some THC, right? Like, we talked about that, but like, dude, that's not the only answer. You can't just get into a vice.
No.
You got to get something else. And if you're going to get into a vice, it might as well be something good.
Yeah.
And whether it's pumping iron, like throwing weights around, or swimming or running or whatever, I don't care what the hell you're doing. I got a guy, he's a chief. He's an E9 I used to work with, a really good dude. He's really, right now, he's hours away from running a 100-miler. And one of my cops from my unit on base, he's there with him right now. They're about to run this 100-miler. And like for them, they're like, dude, I find so much peace. I'm like, dude, keep doing what you're doing. I ain't gonna do it with you.
Yeah,
Jiu-jitsu is my thing.
I told myself I was done running after I got out of the
I quit
military.
running, bro. I'm retired from running.
Yeah, retired from running.
I might have retired from the military, but the first thing I look forward to retiring from is running.
Yeah,
Screw running.
absolutely.
Yeah, and like, hell yeah, dude, that's something we relate to. I'm sure a lot of us vets do. Like, I'm tired of the PT test, the run.
Not a hiker either.
Yeah, hiking is stupid. I know you guys like hiking. There's a lot of you hikers out there. Let them have it, Ryan. We'll take the mats, bro, all day.
Yep.
But dude, I'm really thankful to have you here, bro. I just wanted to make sure we run this back right. Very thankful to have you a second time now.
Yeah.
We'll get this right and we'll get it uploaded. But dude, thank you so much. I do want to end with you just giving a bit of advice. Like, what is the bit of advice you can give to the military active duty, the military veteran that's going through the things that they go through? Is so many different realms of struggle or challenge or whatever, but what is one piece of advice you can give off to the military community today?
Yeah, I'd say for the guys that are out there that are thinking about getting out but are on the edge of whether you want to re-enlist or if you want to get out, just know that there is a life outside of the military. You can succeed. I mean,
It's proof.
There's plenty of guys that are out that are succeeding and doing great things and finding new things to fulfill that need that you have to be a part of a team or to, you know what I mean, little accomplishments as you go. But that would be my thing for the guys that are thinking about getting out. Is it is possible. And if you ever run into dark times or anything like that, you just need to look for some sort of outlet or something that you can get into that'll fulfill those small internal battles that you may have.
For sure.
And I mean, I highly recommend jiu-jitsu.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You heard it from the man himself. And what about the struggling guy, the guy that's going through jiu-jitsu and is like, man, dude, this may not be for me, or maybe I'm second guessing myself. You know, you're nearing the end of the journey. Like, you got 4 stripes on your belt, dude. Like, I mean my journey, like white belt journey, right?
White belt
it's just
journey,
the next level. But what are some things that you learned that you can take away, or just some simple advice you can give to the average person that's going through jiu-jitsu that's maybe newer?
Yeah, I think everybody runs into that wall. I mean, I'm sure you have, either whether it be a white belt or blue belt or even now a purple belt. I mean, you always feel like you're not getting somewhere, or you're not advancing in the way that you're doing things or your certain skill set. But I think what a lot of us forget is, like you said, is like we're all rolling together and everybody is leveling up together. So the person that you're trying it on is getting better at the same time. So every now and again you need to just go back, and there's always a new guy at the gym. Go back and roll with a new guy. And then when you're sitting there playing with them and they have no idea why they're up in the air or in a choke or whatever, then you can be like, okay, you know, I have progressed. Look at this was me 2 months ago, or this was me 3 years ago, or whatever it may be. You know what I mean? But also go out there and search for those hard rolls, search for those colored belts that are out there, because they might kick your ass every time, but every single time you're going to learn something. Yeah. And I mean, how many times have you put me in a baseball bat choke?
Yeah, dude, I was getting ready for that comp, and I'm just like, hey, you know?
Yeah.
But eventually you stop getting caught in that.
I haven't been hitting a baseball choke in a minute. Now that I say that, it'll probably be tomorrow. I'll probably go hit a baseball choke. But, you know, I mean, there's so many little things, and when you get stuck, like I got stuck for a while, and I felt like I wasn't progressing a lot, and all I was doing is I was coming on, wrestling you, getting on top, smashing, trying to force some sort of submission out of you. I think one of the big things that changed with me is when I stopped being the guy that would solely just go and try to smash you and get on top. And I mean, you see me now, I go in and 90% of the matches that I'm going to start, I'm going to pull guard. Yeah.
And
And
you're working something that
yeah,
maybe isn't your normal wheelhouse, but you're starting to get used to the uncomfortable position.
yeah. And I always work something. I'll choose a couple moves. Like I said, the arm bar has been one of the ones that I've been trying to hit lately because they're literally all over the place.
Yeah.
There's always an arm out there that can be arm barred somewhere, and
Mm-hmm.
or you can make one available for you to arm bar.
Yeah.
So I think opening your eyes a little bit and kind of trying to broadening your game, picking something that you're not good at. I knew that I wasn't good at guard after my first comp. I did well at my first comp, but I got put into guard, and I knew instantly that I wasn't where I wanted to be. Like it was no problem for them to pass my guard to get around. I was able to scramble, luckily rely on my wrestling and be able to scramble and get that dominant position again. But
You realized it was lacking.
I realized it was lacking. And so there was months, I mean, because coming from wrestling, it was like a huge mental block. You don't go to your back. You don't go to your back.
Yeah.
And so it's so weird to come in and go scoot towards someone and immediately go back to your back.
Yeah.
So I think once I introduced something new, it opened my horizon to so many more other things of so many ways that I can hone my game in not hyper focusing on one thing that I'm already good at
Right.
my level. I would say I'm good at passing guard. I'm good at getting around on most white belts. Now, at the time, I couldn't hold somebody or retain guard as a white belt against a white belt. I would just immediately get passed or whatever. So as soon as I started focusing on the things that I was bad at, instead of transitioning the things that I know I'm good at and relying on those things, that's where my game massively changed. And
Yeah.
it kind of opened my eyes a little bit more to work angles instead of trying to strength everything or trying to smash.
There
or,
is a time and place for that. And you as a competitor, like obviously you're going to go for your strength when
Absolutely.
you're competing, but like when you're trying to grow as a practitioner,
Yeah.
to go through the fire and brimstone of getting in something that you suck at is a huge part of the journey. And it's a super underrated part of the journey. I know a lot of people talk about it. Literally every person I've had on the podcast, like I've had you now, Jordan, Ray, and Justin. Like these are some prominent people in our gym, and they all have preached the same message. It's probably for a reason. So if you're listening and you've heard it from all of us and you're hearing it again, it's probably because it's something you should really think about and really consider. And to see you doing that, man, it's clearly paying off, and I'm really stoked for you in your journey and what's going to come in the next chapter. But dude, like enjoy the ride, because it only gets harder, but it gets better too.
It gets
like,
better.
Blue belt was definitely a fantastic belt for me, and I know that as you're like preparing for the transition at your rank and where you're at, just keep on leveling up, dude, and keep on going, because I know you're gonna continue to level up from there and enjoy the ride. So
and roll with your eyes closed.
roll with your eyes closed, dude. Yeah,
I do it constantly, and it's amazing. It's amazing what you can feel on the way that the weight shifts when you're not using your eyesight or using your sight sense.
Yeah,
Just using it.
It almost gives you more
really,
of a sight.
It's really helped me. Really helped me.
Yeah.
And I do it. I mean, I do it every single night that I roll. I roll with my eyes closed for at least 10 minutes a night. At least.
And it's paying off. Like you've done it with me, I've done it with you, and like dude, you can just feel certain things.
Yeah.
Your eyes kind of deceive you in a way when you're grappling, and then when you feel something, you feel that little twitch, you feel that little movement. You're like, oh, I know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And it's crazy how fast you can sense that when your eyes are closed.
Yeah.
Just getting rid of that and relying on your actual senses to feel stuff. And dude, super stoked to have you on. Thank you so much for coming back again to run it back and get it right this time. Just amazing to hear your part of the journey. Thank you for taking the time. Please thank your family for having you on. If you guys enjoy this, man, please shoot a like, the subscribey things, do all the things that you got to do on YouTube or Spotify. You can find us on there. Looking forward to having more podcasts, but please check this podcast out and make sure to share it with the masses, because we got a pretty badass dude here, and I'm just thankful again for your time, brother. And thank you so much for the gift. That's a new tradition, period. The box is happening. Any military guy that I can get in there, any veteran, I want to be able to share the stories and have that collection of folks that come on here and share the story. So thank you so much for kicking that off, dude.
Yeah, if you're a vet, you come on here, bring a challenge coin.
Yeah.
Bring Jason a little something to remember the episode by. Eventually he'll have a super cool collection from a
Yeah.
bunch of different people.
Well, the Dirty Shirt collection, dude. Patches and challenges coins. You heard it from the man himself. So thanks again, brother.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
I had an absolute pleasure, brother.
Yeah.
And we'll catch you guys next time.